Hello folks, Chrisman here at JC's Bees. In this week's video I want to talk about goldenrod, the goldenrod flow, when you should be upping your feeding regimen because the goldenrod flow is ending, and a change that you need to be making in your feeding regimen this time of year. So let's dive right in by checking out this goldenrod. So if we look across this pasture, there's quite a bit of goldenrod here. One issue right off the bat that I can say that we have with this goldenrod is lack of rain. It's been 6 to 8 weeks since we've had anything significant, so the goldenrod doesn't really look that great, and this is affecting my goldenrod flow, so which will affect my wallet, what it comes down to. If you look across this goldenrod, you can see a lot of it's lost its bright orange, yellowish color, whatever you want to say. It's golden color, there you go, and it's turning a brownish yellow. But some of it, if we look around here, still is very vibrant, like this plant right here. This plant here still has lots of flow. You can see we got a honeybee right there on it, working away. This plant over here, it's not producing any nectar, it's drying up. That's why the petals have lost all their colors. That's why it feels all dry and wants to fall apart when I rub on it. This plant still looks very nice, very healthy. So if you see that your pastures or the areas around you have more color like this, then you've probably still got a decent nectar flow from the goldenrod. And if that's the case, I would probably hold off feeding for just a little bit longer. Wait till your plants start to look more like this, and then consider, I better get in there and look and see what the food stores look like. Now, if your plants in your area look more like this, then yeah, you better get on the ball. You better get out there and see how your food stores are looking. Start figuring out how much feeding you need to do, stocking up on sugar and all that good stuff. So that's how I say it's going to affect your pocket in the long run. Because if you've got a decent rainfall in the last few weeks, your goldenrod probably does look more like this. So your nectar flow is going to be a little bit longer than if you're in an area that hasn't had rain and you're getting a real short flow cycle. Like, to give you an idea, I would say most of this looked like that for about 12 days. That's it. 12 days and it dried up. So being that my cycle is shorter, I'm going to have to feed a little bit more because the bees didn't bring in the nectar from the plants. So you can see how it all kind of loops together, nature and bees, just right there in that little scenario. Now what you're going to notice right after the goldenrod though, or maybe once the goldenrod is in middle of its bloom, is you're going to start to see these pop up. And this is aster. Very pretty little plant. I've been told it's several different kinds of aster, so I don't want to give you a pinpoint name because I can't verify any of them. But that's aster. We also have a purple one, which is very pretty. And I'm going to overlap some video of that right here because I don't have any around me. But this purple aster seems to be a little bit more drought tolerant. That means it doesn't need the rain that the goldenrod does. Just like the aster, the white aster, it seems to be a little bit more drought tolerant. You get all those tiny little flowers and last for weeks. Now the purple, it seems to be the same way. It's drought tolerant, but I also think it seems to handle the frost a little bit better than the white. A couple good frost and the white's done. It seems to take about 4 good frosts to kill off the purple. So that's how you can tell. Now if you look in this area here of the goldenrod, you can see we've got a little bit more color versus over there where we were earlier, or down in there. So it just really depends on the area. And probably what that breaks down to, the farmer in me is going to kick in now, is the soil. What's going on in the soil? You got good minerals Is this area holding more water than over there? There's lots of variables. So I said you're going to have to change something in your feeding regimen. And what that would be, if you make sugar syrup, instead of feeding 1-to-1, you're going to want to feed 2-to-1. And that's going to be 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. And the reason for that being is, one to one is going to add a lot of work for your bees, and it's also going to add a lot of moisture to the hive. This time of year we want to try and avoid either one of those if we can. Usually we feed 1-to-1 to get frames drawn out and comb built, but I'll tell you folks, this time of year, just face the facts. You're probably not going to get the frames drawn out. What you got is what you got. So the 2-to-1 going to be a lot thicker. The bees aren't going to have to do as much fanning as they would with the 1-to-1, because when you feed them 1-to-1, all that excess moisture in the syrup, the bees have to fan it with their wings to get it to the consistency to where they're happy with it, and then they'll cap off the cell. So by saving them that work, they're able to get more done. So just something to think about there. Look at the garden spider. You see the garden spider? Waiting for a bee just to fly right through that nest. Right now you got him a little grasshopper. There's another one right there. That's one thing I'll say about our farm. This is where I manage the grass-fed beef. It's just right up the road. It's less than 1/8 of a mile from my home. We're very diverse. We're organic. You just see a little bit of everything. And I've been told many times, the more spiders you see in your pastures, it just shows the diversity you have going on in your pastures. And it's nothing to come up here in the morning when there's still dew on the pastures and see thousands of spider webs across this whole pasture, or any of the pastures. So anyway folks, that's what you want to look for. When the goldenrod flow's starting to die off like mine is, you really got to kick it in gear and get on the ball, because you don't know when Mother Nature is going to say, all right, I'm tired of the warm weather, here's your cold stuff. And at that point, the bees slow down. It's harder to get the nectar from the feeder, or the syrup from the feeder and into the frame. So keep an eye on your goldenrod and be ready to act once you see it starting to brown up. If you enjoyed this video and it's helped you out, throw me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and make sure you click on that little bell so you get notified when I release new videos. Thanks for watching JC's Bees.